Pro Showcase 3 Redemption live from MBS CrossFit in Thornton, Colorado. I'm Brian Friend, joined by Bella Martin, and our main card matchup featuring two CrossFit Games athletes in James Sprague and Nick Mathew is slated to start a couple minutes from now. As we mentioned a few minutes ago, James Sprague is riding some high momentum at the moment. Not only did he qualify for his first CrossFit Games last year and punch his ticket to the second CrossFit Games this year, he did it in style. A great performance out in the West Coast, taking third place against a very elite field full of athletes that have top 10 Games potential. He believes he has top 10 potential at the Games this season. And his opponent is Nick Mathew, a man who, similarly to Kelly Stone and the women that we'll see in the final, had his season cut short after two really impressive seasons at the CrossFit Games the past 2 years. Hence the redemption battle. We really haven't seen the Redeemers been able to come over that hurdle. What makes you think Nick might be able to turn that tide, Bella?
You know, I think Nick is just one of those athletes that thrives in a fun environment. He reminds me a lot of Noah Olson, if I'm going to be honest. When the crowd is there, he puts on a show. And so I think Nick is that athlete that if any of the Redeemers are going to do it today, it's going to be Nick. But I tell you what, the tension between these two and the tension and anxiety that I'm feeling right now, just watching them kind of walk around, James is puffing up his chest. If there's a match that I'm excited to watch, it's this one.
They've been playful in the build-up, but also, you know, James was over there in Nick's corner, standing up tall, puffing out the chest, and maybe putting down a little bit of intimidation. James told me he thinks he can do 4 full rounds of this sequence in the first 3-minute interval.
I'm sure he can.
And we saw Riley Myrick in the first interval do a 47-second split, but nobody has been able to sustain that intensity for a full 3 minutes. James may be in the best shape of his life right now, and if he's able to do that, I mean, Nick's going to have to answer a pretty tall task just to get through the first round.
Yeah, but if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Nick Mathew.
I absolutely believe that Nick Mathew, although his last 2 seasons were the first that he's made the CrossFit Games, has been knocking on the door of qualifying for the CrossFit Games at very competitive regionals and semifinals for several years prior to making it there. He showed up at the CrossFit Games a couple years ago, notched a few event wins, had a very impressive finish just outside of the top 10, backed it up with another solid... Sorry, Patrick, making me laugh on the mic there. Backed it up with another great performance last year. He got the better of Sprague there. Sprague got the better of him at Wodapalooza. And it's kind of like time to settle the score here between James Sprague and Nick Mathew in our penultimate match of the night. The sequence tonight is John. 3 minutes on, 1 minute off for a maximum of 5 rounds so far. We haven't needed more than 2. 12 box jump overs. They can rebound if they want to. 6 thrusters at 155 and 12 chest to bar pull-ups. 5 seconds to the start.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. And they're off.
Rebounding box jumps for both men out the gate, and actually these were the guys that were lobbying for Phil to give the rebounding option. And you know, Phil is receptive to the athletes' requests. He said, we'll give you the option if you want it. We'll leave it up to you. Both of them said, yeah, absolutely, we'll do it. Out the gate, James with about a half rep lead. And you would think that similarly to Kyra Milligan, and Nick Mathew would have a little bit of an advantage here. And sure enough, he makes up that half rep, and it's about a 1 rep difference from a half rep behind to a half rep ahead.
It's the thrusters and the chest bar for the guys that we've seen make the difference in this one. Nick Mathew trying to get that 1 rep ahead. Haven't seen any green yet.
No, it's just flickering between a 1 and a 0, and at 47 seconds, both men off the box. No hesitation, immediately into the second set of box jump overs. And you know, like, rebounding box jumps is something that you'll see pro-level athletes doing. Historically, it's been a part of this sport, and I think about it the same way I do any other movement. If there are multiple variations of it, and you're a pro, you should be practicing it.
Yeah, I think you should be practicing. I think with the sport of CrossFit, it's moving into safer practices. I think for an athlete like me, I don't compete, so I don't need to be doing rebounding. But if it's going to head-to-head 1v1 battle, rebound on that box.
Mathew once again with about a half rep lead off the bar. James looking at the clock, and at the 1:30 mark, he bounced up for the chest to bar pull-ups. So 4 rounds is not going to happen. They're off the pace for that, and really not surprising. I mean, this workout compounds quickly. And at the 141 mark, Mathew drops off, and he's going to carry a 1 rep lead into the 3rd round of the sequence here in the 1st round of the match.
Time for redemption, baby. He's holding on to that lead over James Sprague, just 2 reps ahead.
Yeah, and quite frankly, he looks good. Like the rebounding box jumps look good for him. Couple break breaths here heading to the barbell, but Sprague, same thing. And for the first time, we kind of see the athletes eyeing each other up. As I say that, it's Sprague who gets the bar off the ground first, and because of that, I think they're probably going to end up dropping this bar at the same time.
They'll drop it at the same time, but they both know they're going to have to go into that next interval. So I think now, it's damage control. Can you keep your heart rate down? Can you keep it white and 0-0 across the board?
Yeah, I think both athletes here need to adopt Malachi Bennett's philosophy of, okay, I'm going to have to do this for another round, so let me just stay close and see whether I can, take a little bit of an advantage in that second round. But James not taking my advice and actually attacking here at the last part of the first interval, 10 seconds to go, and he goes to the rebound after the step downs in the last round. Nick also rebounding, but a little bit slower, and James will get that last rep in. So will Nick. So Sprague will carry a 4-rep advantage into the second interval. Mathew to the bench immediately, shakes his head a little, sticks out the tongue, looking over at Sprague, who's tying his shoe.
Again, 2 opposite corners here in our little octagon of a competition floor. James, calm, cool, collected, tying his shoe. Nick looks a little worse for wear, but hopefully he can bring his heart rate down, get a little bit of water.
Yeah, and with early knockouts, we haven't seen too much of this intra-round, insight into how the athletes attack it. But I love this part of the reps ahead format, because we can still see how they both are doing. Now Nick has seemed to recover a little bit. He's talking to his judge, just clarifying, I think, that they will start over at the beginning of the interval. So they'll start once again with the 12 box jump overs into the thrusters and the chest to bars. Round 2, Sprague versus Mathew. Sprague with the 4-rep advantage. And here we go. 3 more minutes of work if they need it. Second round, we have not seen any match get past this round yet. And Sprague off to a very fast start in terms of these box jump overs.
I think Nick really hopes there is no third round.
Well, I wonder if Sprague sees an opportunity here. The urgency on the box jump overs was as good as it was straight out the gate in round 1. Got to the barbell just as fast as he did in round 1. And a little bit of a hustle in his step over to the pull-up bar. Now, this could pay off well for James in terms of a knockout in this round. If Nick is able to dig here and James doesn't knock him out in the first 2 minutes of this round, the tides do have the potential to turn. As it stands, James with an 8-rep lead getting to the box, so he's doubled his advantage in just 50 seconds. And Mathew drops with a couple reps to go, and we're into the double digits. Sprague 11, and now 12 reps ahead. Mathew needs to answer the intensity here. Sprague done with the box jumps, and this will be Mathew's chance to reel that number back into the single digits. Sprague straight to the barbell, and if Mathew isn't urgent getting to the bar, Sprague could knock him out here on the pull-ups. Very reminiscent of what we just saw from Milligan. Can Sprague hold on and get to the pull-up bar? The grimace is on the face, but the light is in front of him. And I think both athletes likely know what's coming. James Sprague digging deep. Mathew fighting for his life here at the minute 30-second mark. And almost a carbon copy of Milligan and Stone. James Sprague, the 2024 CrossFit Games qualifier, knocks out Nick Mathew, the man who didn't get the opportunity to fight for the games this year. I cannot believe how similar that match was to what we just saw.
That's incredible. But I think that's what's going to happen. When you have athletes at this level that know exactly what they need to do to get it done, they're going to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
wow.
Let's give a hand for
James Sprague hit the 144 mark officially with a knockout, 14 reps ahead of Mathew in round 2 of the sequence called John here at Pro 3 Redemption. Within a few seconds of finishing his match, he did the Captain Morgan's pose on his back in front of the crowd, turned around and made sure to say great job to Nick, his opponent. We talked about the sportsmanship with Malachi Bennett, James Sprague, obviously, Noah Olson, Nick Mathew. We just have a ton of athletes in the space that are of this kind of character in addition to their fitness. And then he also turned back around and acknowledged the crowd, which has swelled to a couple hundred people as there's just been more and more people walking in as the matches have worn on here.
It's amazing to see the community really show up for these athletes. It's not just a community event, it's for everybody.
Well, there's a two-pronged approach to the events that Phil has designed here. The intentional addition of the community matches and this local pros obviously brings the local crowd. The addition of big names in the CrossFit world, CrossFit Games athletes across the board in these last three matches, 6 athletes. Obviously, it's not that often that you get athletes of that caliber coming to your local affiliate to do a showcase match like this. James finishing up there with Patrick, and he's going to make his way over to the booth. We'll make some way for the big man to join us here. Slide in here, James.
Oh, I just want to sit down. Thank you.
James Sprague, congratulations.
Thank you.
Back in the winner's circle at a reps ahead match. How does it feel?
Oh man, it was almost redemption for me too. Even though the redemption really meant for those that kind of missed out on their season, I feel like the last loss for me really stung against Dallin. So I really wanted it this time, and I put in the work to try and improve it.
I mean, you've been putting in the work across the board. With Patrick there for the crowd, you were talking about some of the specific things you've been working on that paid off in this workout. But for the people at home, what have you been working on, and how did it pay off tonight?
I've really been working on just staying upright at my squat, speed in my squats no matter what weight it is, just not pausing at any point during the rep. Really helped my cycle speed as a tall guy. I think being taller, the range of motion on these movements would typically be disadvantageous, but mentally I try to make it an advantage by just being tougher than the other guy.
2 nuances that I saw out there. One was that you did go to a step down at one point. Was that strategic?
My legs were getting really heavy. I thought I was about to cramp. And so once that feeling went away, I started jumping again.
And the second one was in your very last round of thrusters. I saw the pain face set in, maybe the last 2 thrusters. Was there any temptation to drop the bar?
No chance. I saw how beat up he was. I knew the only way to win this workout is to get a good chunk of chest to bar. So I was like, you want to win? Here's your chance. So we did that, and I'm very grateful. I got to get to know all these guys, amazing competitors. Nick, incredible man. Just loved hanging out with him, and excited to grow with all these athletes in the sport long term.
James, I would say you're kind of the Mr. Nice Guy of CrossFit. People know you for your very friendly disposition. How do you turn on that switch and flip to a lethal competitor?
100%. I feel like so many people look at me as the happy, nice guy without the fire. But in reality, it's like the fire is what fuels my kindness. I'm so passionate about the sport. I love everyone in it. But I just feel like it's so easy to be nice to everyone and just have this positive attitude because I'm grateful for what I get to do. But I honestly, about 30 minutes before an event starts, it's focus on the warm-up, focus on my strategy. Social time will come later, like right now.
Yeah, I respect it. I'm sure athletes do as well. You've come through the ranks as a teen. You've made your name as an open athlete now. Do you feel a responsibility to the younger generation to inspire them and kind of teach them the ways?
100%. I did my whole CrossFit journey wrong as a young 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old. I overtrained. I underate. I made the sport an idol in my life. And so my goal is just to show all these young people, no matter where you're at, it's like, hey, this is supposed to be a fun thing to add to your life. Not one of those things that's like, becomes your life, Yeah.
Becomes your life. Your dad also does the sport. How do you balance that kind of camaraderie, father-son dynamic?
Yeah. Oh man, he's training for triathlons right now. But he gave me the news the other day. He's going to go for the games again next year. So I get to do another games here with him. I think he's a little jealous. It's been my 4th games. He's at 3, so he's always trying to get more than each other. And I just love doing fitness with my whole family. It's the best.
That's so unique, and that is so CrossFit.
Yeah, right? So true.
I love it.
You made the transition back to the Northwest this year. For all those that may be watching back home, anything you want to shout out to, want to give back home?
Oh man, all the people in the Black Goat fitness community that have helped me get here. Black Goat isn't an affiliate, but it's probably the biggest gym family I've ever had. Just them and my fiance for just supporting me even during her busy pharmacy season. She still supports me as much as she can and does whatever she can to make me a better athlete. And then just everyone that's in my day-to-day journey, whether in the gym, body workers, everyone helps this stuff come together. So it's not just me on the floor, it's all of them together.
You're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
In many ways.
Thank you, guys.
Last one, James. You've been a part of Reps Ahead for a while now. You've been the mainstay at the 3 pro matches. Just speak to kind of the evolution of that, the crowd that's here tonight, and what Phil's been creating for athletes through these first 3 pro events.
Every event gets more unique, gets more professional, and gets more crowd. I mean, if people can see on this live stream, what we got here. I'd say like we're close to 200 people just in this small affiliate, like gathering together to make us better and cheer us on. Philip has a incredible mindset of just wanting to do it for a greater cause rather than for himself. He's a very selfless man who just wants to see athletes have opportunities. And any opportunity he gives me, I'll continue to come back because I freaking love the style and I love how it makes me feel.
Well, James, always an honor to watch you compete no matter the stage. Congrats on getting the win tonight.
Thank you.
Reps Ahead Pro 3 champ on the men's side, James Sprague.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for watching. All you guys back at home and all over the place. Appreciate it.
All right, James.
Y'all are awesome. Time to get on the bike.
Yep.
That was 2 frames in a row. It's so painful. I only had to do
It's still on.
24 thrusters, right?
Something like that.
Okay.
Maybe
I
30.
lost count.
Maybe 30.
Cool. You want me to help commentate this one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Nah, go
Okay.
cool down.
Okay.
Stay
Okay,
fresh.
I'll be back. We'll have a bunch of cards tonight.
We'll have a yawn.
Yes, sir.
James Sprague, winner of Pro 3, taking down Nick Mathew once again, second round knockout, and that will pave the way and set the stage for our final match of the night. We got Paige Powers out of CrossFit Mayhem, Sydney Wells out of Proven HQ. Both athletes flying out to the West Coast for this one, and pretty cool way to end the night. Both young athletes in the sport. Both of them didn't get to compete at semifinals and have been gracious enough to give us their presence here tonight. So we'll be out for about 2 minutes, and then 5:10 local time is the start time for Paige Powers versus Sydney Wells, who will be closing out Reps Ahead 3 here from Thornton, Colorado.
Hi there, my name is Michael Mayali, and I have the privilege of working with this incredible team putting on Reps Ahead Pro 3 for you today. I want to say thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to anybody who's been a part of getting this event series to where it is today. If you'll remember, we do these events to raise awareness and support for the New You Cares Foundation in an effort to provide healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to members of exceptional communities all around the United States. Since the last Reps Ahead Pro event, we have been able to do so much work that in the month of June alone, we have provided over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to veterans and first responders. If you would like to support that, please text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, we hope that you enjoy the event today, and we cannot wait to see you at the next Reps Ahead Pro event in the near future.